And I believe we are live. If you can hear me clearly, please let me know. Welcome everyone to King Talks, the platform where we share marketing ideas worth spreading. Whether you're joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, rather, please make sure that you leave us a big thumbs up and feel free to drop any questions or comments because we would love to engage with you further. Our guest today is Marcel van der Linde. Marcel is the founder of Koi Pond Marketing Solutions. He holds a BA degree from the University of Pretoria, majoring in psychology and education, as well as a postgraduate certificate in education from the same university. He has furthered his current skills by getting a marketing management diploma from Allison.com and has successfully completed several Google certifications, including the fundamentals of digital marketing, Google Ads Display, as well as Google Ads Search. Through Koi Pond Marketing Solutions, Marcel specializes in the crafts of search engine optimization, blogging, as well as social media. So it only makes sense that today's discussion is around storytelling from a brand's perspective and, more importantly, making the customer the hero of your stories. So without any further ado, Marcel, over to you.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I'm very flattered.
All facts.
Well, thank you for having me. Firstly, it's great to be on here, and thanks for giving me such an awesome topic to talk about. Before we went live, I was telling Tamara that I've been following her talks that she's doing with like industry leaders and designers, and amazing information, and it's it's definitely going to help push businesses and entrepreneurs into an amazing direction for their businesses. Where I feel like my topic is so much fun because now you get to engage with the people that actually buy your products. You get to spend time with them, build that trust. Um, and for businesses nowadays, that is trust can't be rated. It is so important to sort of build that relationship with your audience. I read an interesting article and they go through statistics saying that it was American Express that actually did the research, saying that people actually spend more money for the same product if they actually trust the brand and the person delivering the product. And when I read that, it set in, and I think that's the day I posted on LinkedIn where you saw that. And I thought that why aren't businesses doing this? I mean, you see Nike, Adidas, all these big brands. Airbnb is doing fantastic in the space, using actual people's houses, actual people's feedback, none of their own, to sort of boost a business model that builds trust within its within its sort of sphere and client base. And I could never understand why small businesses aren't doing it. So I was working. Today I'm gonna talk about stories and sort of experiences, and I feel like that will give better context to sort of making a customer the hero of the story or of your brand. And so an e-commerce platform, nice shop, nice website, everything runs smoothly, call to actions where it needs to be, sort of the foundations of the marketing platforms built fantastically. Easy to find, SEO is done really well. The one thing is they never ask their customers to rate them. They never ask their customers to give feedback. Why choose us over thousands of other e-commerce platforms in South Africa alone? So we said, let's do a thought experiment. You run an e-commerce business and you put out pieces of content or you sell products, and generally it's with an email saying the product has been shipped, here's your invoice. How about we just take a Facebook logo that's hyperlinked, a LinkedIn logo that's hyperlinked, an Instagram that's hyperlinked, your ads or your sort of usernames, and we'll just ask them at the end of the email, hi, would you mind letting us know if you enjoy the product, maybe take a photo, tag us in it, and let's see how that goes. And we started building it and we said, okay, cool, let's every invoice we ask customers. And if they feel that the product was subpar or the service was subpar, we ask them, can you tell us why? Continue building that trust. Not only are we asking them, post about us, tell other people that this is where you bought stuff. Tell other people that this is the place you need to go to get this product or this item. And The second part is we're not only sort of fishing for these compliments or fishing for these endorsements or champion stories. We're just giving them the opportunity. We're actually saying, listen, we are here. And if you like it, great. Let us know or tell other people it's great. But the second part is that we build trust. So when we get feedback and comments that say, listen, we weren't happy with this or this aspect, we jumped on that immediately. The lines of communication was always open, and we'll say, great, how can we fix this? How can we do this? And we start building that trust. And we start building that trust to where that person was not satisfied with the product, but they still post about us. They write stories saying, I got a response within 12 hours of saying I had an issue. They sent a courier to pick up the product on our cost, and they're sending me another product. And essentially what we did is we just compiled all these comments and feedbacks, and then we start ask them, listen, post a story about us. Post a story about this product. Or if the courier man comes and collects your package, let us know. And we started sharing their stories. And what we found is that people were more inclined to engage with us, or they were more inclined to engage with this business and sort of follow this business's trend, because yes, he is fishing for, reviews, and is fishing for this, which is perfectly fine strategy to have, but he took the negative feedback he got and turned that into a champion story. Even though we are all human, even though all this, we're sharing their stories, we're liking their Facebook posts, we're commenting on the ones. There was a post on Facebook where the package was completely destroyed. It wasn't the business's fault, but it was the courier's fault. He went on, he commented, he's saying, listen, I'm so sorry about this. Made a joke about the package and says, listen, email us and we will schedule a return. And then we memed it. We took that comment and we posted it on his personal things. We posted on his company's things, and we tagged those people. Every person that was in it, every person that was, good or bad, we tagged them. We asked them to tag us, and we sort of created this whole bubble of these people that had amazing experiences championing our cause, the people that had terrible experiences championing the course. And then we decided, okay, well, this is working fantastically. So what are big brands doing that we can't do, or that we're not touching on, or we don't have a $50,000 to just run a big PR campaign? So what can we do? So then we thought about, okay, let's look at all our fans, all these people that have interacted with these posts, making them a champion. And we said, okay, cool. Let's ask them, what do you want? Do you want a competition? What is the one thing that a brand should do that will get your attention? And they told us. They said they want video content. They want subtitles because they can't always listen to videos with sound, so they want subtitles on. And they want things to be quirky. They understand the whole part of, it's an e-com shop and you sort of promote the business, but they said, I'm putting these words on their mouth. It comes down, where's the content marketing? Because we see all this great stuff, but what else can you offer? What else can you do? And we said, well, why don't you tell us what you want? And then we're going to see what we can do to take it further. And the video section was one of it. And the others said they want pieces of marketing that they can digest, but small pieces, and not a blog post, not a 12-minute video, just small little tips. So if you buy one of their Weber bras, there's a video below it, how to, perfectly steam a chicken inside a Weber. Not the greatest quality of video, but there were subtitles. The guy was very enthusiastic, and we gave the audience exactly what they wanted. And once they sort of started seeing, like, okay, this guy's messing around. He's actually listening to us. We found out that they kept on engaging, but there were no more requests. There were still requests coming in, but it was more like, we love what you're doing. Keep pushing it. And whenever we tagged someone that received a item from the shop, we tagged them, put it in a story, it made them feel good. That all of a sudden it didn't just stop at checkout. These guys actually took an interest in the community that they've created. And that is the beauty of sort of creating champions for your brand. And I'm not saying, like I mentioned earlier, you're not Nike, you're not Adidas, and you're not going to pay Serena Williams $1 million to promote your running shoes. But what if you're a company like Batsu in South Africa, a Sowetan-based sneaker company? What do? They don't have stores, you know, specifically highlighting these huge influencers. They talk about community. Their messaging is community driven. Whether it's community as in where their story started or the people buying their product. The entire focus that they've pushed is purely based on community. How can we help the community? How are these shoes sort of setting trends in our community? So without even having to fork out tons of money on additional marketing, they use their brick and mortar shops. They use the platforms that they have at their disposal to build and focus on their community. And that is the bedrock of any sort of brand that wants to use a customer um, as a champion, because you include them in a community, they feel welcomed, they feel listened to, and they feel that if I ask someone for something, or I'm not sure about a purchase, or I'm not sure about something, I have the freedom to ask and it will get answered. And that's why I mentioned, Airbnb and all these huge companies that are actually doing this. And why being a small business and using the same strategy with your own customers will just boost that initial impression that people get when they see your brand or they see your interaction, because they're already primed. I'm already primed when I see the Euros are coming out for football. I get excited, and all of a sudden I'm craving a Heineken. I don't even drink anymore. But all of a sudden, through years of sort of just being part of that community, watching football, the UEFA system, all of a sudden I drink Pepsi and I like Heineken. Like I said, I don't drink anymore, and I'll much rather pour Coke. If I speak to you. But if Euros are on and someone puts a Pepsi in front of me, I'm like, hell's yeah, I want a Pepsi. Uh, you know, you can create that same community, that same engagement, but you don't have to fork out the thousands to sort of get these influencers to do it for you, because you already have influencers. You have people engaging and sort of buying from you, or interacting with you. Use that, because everyone. Yeah, I'm going to go off on a separate point. Apologies for everyone listening, but people used to say that, or still say, Facebook's organic search or organic growth is gone. And yes, they turn the taps off. You need to put money into it. But what if I tell you, if you post on a group of 150,000 members, every single one of those members will get a notification that someone posted in that group? That seems free and that seems pretty organic to me. And the same goes with asking them to like your post. As soon as someone engages with content you've put out, and you're doing amazing with that on LinkedIn, if I like your video, my network sees that I am watching your network. I'm watching your videos and I'm engaging with you. That will get my network to look at the content that you're producing. So you shouldn't be sort of stopping yourself saying, "Ah, I can't do it organically. I can't turn champions. I can't speak to them. Everything is dead." I always say, like, have you actually spoken to them? Or have you tried engaging on a forum? Quora is great, looking for, people ask questions and you can answer it. Or Facebook groups, go on there, chat to them. LinkedIn groups is fantastic. I feel that people seeing that you're making the effort to engage with something, if it's your business or not, or I would suggest using your brand profile to comment on these things. Um, they see that not only are you just a business that is, in the business of making money. Let's be honest, we all need money, but it goes past that. Our interaction with you, or our help with, towards you doesn't end when you click checkout and the money reflects in our bank accounts. Because we want you to come back and we want you to tell others that this shop or this brand is doing what they're saying, they're sticking to their promises, and they're delivering content that I enjoy and they're delivering products that I enjoy. And that's all you need. Once you sort of got that first interaction, first comment on a video, lean into that. Ask them questions. How are you doing? What did you find impactful? What did you find meaningful? 9 out of 10 times, you'll probably find the guy probably a week later, but will respond saying, "Oh, great! I didn't actually realize any more comments, or I didn't realize the actual creator of this video took the time to read these comments." So, having these conversations with business owners is really interesting because it's almost like that moment of like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah." So when you meet someone at a braai, you don't just sit in the corner and hope they come talk to you. Well, I mean, I do that sometimes, but I'm gonna be very honest with everyone. It's probably because I don't want to talk to anyone, but I have been there. But just going up to someone and saying, "Hi, I'm Marcel. How are you? I'm friends with so and so," or "I am the founder of Koipon," or "I'm the CMO of Alakin Creatives." Just that initial step where you're saying, "I'll take the time. I'll talk to you. I'll find out what you want." Um, it goes a long way. I mean, I've seen some South African brands try this and succeed and do really well with it, but I've seen international brands. Now, this is the really interesting part because this just shows the niche that, well, any niche has this opportunity online. If Starbucks, for example, uses customer experiences from South Africa, not America, not the UK, not these giant demographics, from South Africa in their sort of marketing, um, why can't you? Starbucks encourages people, and I'm not going to go into the psychology behind it, but from the whole experience when you walk into Starbucks and you interact with someone, it's quick, it's fast, it feels great. I'm on the move. I'm a you feel part of that sort of that drive, that corporate structure. And then what they do is they don't just end it there. They put your name or what they heard on the cup, written it down. That is the biggest personal touch that this big corporate chain with a million Starbucks, where it's still the same thing. Each store still writes their name on it. And when you walk out with a Starbucks and you see your name, I bet you 70% of the time you want to take a selfie with it or you want to take a picture of it. And that's what you need to do with your business. So I'm going to give another example and shout out to Dreamweave Tech, small little e-commerce for computer suppliers and things like that. So and they were competing against Eve Tech, Takealot, these giants in the field. Do you know how they stood out? With every order, they sent a chocolate and a handwritten note. Thank you so much for buying from us. That causes people to be like, damn, I love this. This is so much more worth than the 200 Rand. It was more expensive than the other shop, but look at the service I got. Look at the attention to detail this brand puts in it. I'm talking about they probably get hundreds of orders a day, but they'll still write hundreds of cards. The little Chucky saying, thank you so much for choosing us. And you can do that. I'm not saying write a handwritten note or saying do this, but let's take my niche, for example. I talk for a living. That's what I do. I talk for a living, and sometimes I write it down. As Tamar mentioned, by trade, I'm a teacher. I like teaching, I like talking, and I sort of like conveying information. And that's what I love about marketing, because it allows me to do that in creative ways, not necessarily through talk, maybe through a picture, maybe text, maybe video, maybe audio. There's so many ways that I can do it. So if I always ask myself, okay, so how can I turn a customer into a champion? So if I have a client that I did work for and they were super happy about it, apart from the obvious, please leave a rating, please review. I'm like, send me a photo in a month if it's if it's consulting, send me a photo in a month of your analytics or whatever we're targeting. Send it to me in a month, and then highlight what changed. Highlight your experience. Why did it go up? And send it to me. And then I go and I look through it. I'm like, fantastic, this is real. And I use that as research. I use that again for when I do my blogs or when I do a case study with a client or I want to do a case study. I use so I promote that business, I talk about them, but then I also use I didn't do the research, I didn't look up the analytics. I asked them to do it for me. And I ask them to send it to me. Not everyone does it, but the ones I do, I use that information and I use that as my sort of champions. See what I've done. This is what I've done for this person, and it's it took time, it took hard work, but this can be you. You can achieve this. So for any business owner out there that is struggling to find a way to how can I personalize this? I don't sell physical products. I maybe I sell ideas. Maybe I sell strategy. Maybe you just sell consults. It's not about the physical thing that they receive. It's about the interaction and it's about the acknowledgement. So if you acknowledge them as a customer and you're proud to have them as a customer, you're proud to share a story or a review of theirs, one, you're building credibility with that person. That's fantastic. Because 9 out of 10 times they'll probably come back to you for a product, for a service, or even just advice. Um, and the other part of it is you're showing other customers that they are important. Whatever whatever they are going to get from you, they are not just buying that service or product, they're also buying your time and your guarantee that you will fulfill the promise and you will fulfill the commitment with them. You're going to walk that journey with them. So that that's sort of the bedrock um, of this whole idea. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is the next big thing," and I'm like, "It's not the next big thing. That's how the world has worked. Before the rise of the internet, a great salesperson was worth his weight in gold. Now you've got the internet. You don't need a salesperson. You are that person. So what can you do to either do it for free? I love free stuff, or pay the least amount of money you can to achieve the maximum results you can. And I promise you, it is so doable. It is. You just need to take a step back and look at what you're offering, and how can you take that offering to a client, to a customer, and have them be happy with it and give you feedback. And again, feedback can be in anything: a Facebook comment, it could be a written review on your Google Business listing, it could be a compliment that they give you on a Skype call, it could be virtually anything. And you just need to find a way that you can use that to make that customer a champion. At the end of the day, I said happy wife, happy life, but in a business, think happy customer, happy business, and I promise you, you can do it. It's really not that hard. Um, you just have to be willing to take the time to look out for these opportunities and then just grab it. And if you're unsure about it, I'm pretty sure you can shoot Tamara an email and she will, or leave a comment on this video. Ask her, how would she do this? And there you go. You've already sort of taken the first steps to sort of engage with it. Maybe in previous videos, go back. Maybe there's someone that left a comment that is a business owner, and I can provide this person with a service, or this person is raving about someone else's service. Chances of you clicking on that link, clicking on that other company, just grows exponentially. Um, so just take the time. If you have an hour a day, you have in more than enough time to create engagement, foster engagement. I mean, if you look at every Instagrammer that posts carousels or sort of gives out marketing advice, they'll all tell you, every single one in some sort of way, they will tell you that you need to use whatever you have to highlight what customers are saying about you. I mean, there's tons of different ways you can highlight and say it, but everyone says it because it is true. Um, if you take, I wish I had all these links now. Now I wish I had a presentation with me that I could share these links. But I mean, like I said, American Express found that 60% of people are willing to overspend on something just because they trust the people or they trust that brand. And the coolest part is, as like I mentioned earlier, even if your product and service or your product or didn't meet the expectations, you could still kill it with service. So the product doesn't need to be, the thing that is willing to, people will pay more, but they might be willing to pay more because they know that the customer service that you provide is top notch and worth that extra 100 Rand. I promise you, take an hour today, whenever you want. I will suggest always choose an hour where your profile is active, where you know people are actively on you. Take an hour, a lunch break. If you are doing a side hustle, take my hat off to you. Dairy and working full time, use your lunch hour. Spend an hour looking at places where people talk about your industry or they talk about your business. That is fantastic. That's first prize. But if you're not going to make effort to be part of the conversation or be in a community, people aren't going to spend time on your business. Um, that distinction is, is no longer there. There's no like, I'm a corporate structure, face this entity, and I make millions. Even those faceless entities that we saw growing up on TV, and I want to get that, or I want to get that, they are now using customers. Granted, Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo, and just appearing, is millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, he still wears football shoes. He is a customer. And Adidas takes time to listen to what he has to say, or Nike, or Puma, or whatever. They take time to listen to what these athletes' customers tell them, and they implement it. So I want you to do that for your business, but in a much smaller scale. I mean, you don't need to pay Cristiano Ronaldo for, feedback on what you do. You already have people that are willing to tell you that for free because they actually spend time in your business. So use it. I feel like I'm a broken record, but if there's any like questions or any specific examples that someone has or that you want to know about, to sort of maybe highlight it a little bit more in an example, please.
The only question that has come through right now, Zimbini wants to just clarify, are you speaking from like an advertising agency perspective or from someone building their own brand?
So that's a fantastic question. So the difference between a marketing agency or a PR agency and a business owner is nothing because it's your business. You need to take ownership. So if you're not going to spend money on a marketing agency to come up with these ideas, campaigns for you, fantastic. Quaker Marketing Solutions. I just thought I had to do the selfish plug there. But you don't need me specifically. If you don't have the time, fantastic. I love to take your brand further. But you are a business owner. Tamara and I were talking earlier before we went live about all these free resources that you can get access to and pay nothing to learn valuable skills that you can implement. The same thing a marketing agency, the same thing I would do, will teach you how to do that. So I guess my advice for you is at this point, I am talking from my own personal experience because yes, I'm a marketing agency, but I also have to market myself. I also have to go through those steps. I also have to engage with my community. It's a little bit harder from a sort of agency perspective, like I said, because you don't have a physical item that you can send. It's not, you're not an e-commerce platform. You sort of work on, oh, I see what you did there, you know, but it's still possible. So as an owner, my encouragement to you is I would save that capital. instead of going straight to a marketing agency. See if you can do it yourself. Go to go check out your profile, check out your business plan. Do you have a marketing strategy? If you don't, maybe that could be the first thing you can look up to learn about a marketing strategy, and try it. And start with simple. Start with what we spoke today. Start about focusing on your customers, using what they say about your business as your chief marketing pillar. Pick me because look at what this guy's saying about me. Pick me, even though the product wasn't correct, my service is top notch. Pick me, I am very good in this space. That is all what you want to focus on, because you will start receiving results. And the more results you'll see, the more analytics you'll see. And the more you'll be like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? How can I use that to increase my sales? And you know what? And then I want to say, welcome to the club. You're officially a marketer. The bug has bit you. And maybe in 10 years, I'm hoping that you run a multi-million rand business where you can hire me to run your marketing for you. But just the fact that you can get there, and I'm saying this, and I'll probably get flamed for saying you don't need me to do anything. It's great because I get to help you. I get to teach you to do these things, but it's part of the journey. If you say, listen, Marcel, okay, cool. I only have 1,000, 2,000 rand excess cash a month that I can use on marketing. I will most likely tell you, why are you emailing me? Go to Udemy, look up a course, use that 2,000 rand and invest in your own future. And if it doesn't work, come back to me. Let's have a consult and let's see what you did. Maybe we can pinpoint 1 or 2 points that you could have executed better, and that would have given you the results you wanted. But in going through that journey, you have developed communication skills because you've spoken to various people, me included. You've developed marketing knowledge from the course you're taking. You further that by talking to people about it. And you're marketing your own business using techniques that the top 500 companies in the world pay companies $1 million retainers. But you can do that. You don't need any of that. You just need you, your community, content, and make them the champion, because they are the ones that are spending their money. They are the ones that are actually giving you the life and giving you the freedom to be a business owner, to be your own boss.
Definitely.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Then please let us know if Marcel was able to answer your question perfectly. I have one more question for you, Marcel. So I've spoken to a number of like business owners, and they're like, let's see, we get customers, there are customers coming through, but every time we ask them to, provide us with feedback, they decide not to. So they choose not to. So I was like saying, you can incentivize your customers, but on the one hand, what I want to know is incentivizing your customers to provide you with feedback okay? Because you don't want them to say something just because they're getting paid to say it or they're getting points or anything like that. So what is your idea on incentivizing customers for feedback?
So again, fantastic question. So I I like it, but there are caveats. So speaking from a hospitality perspective, right? So a large part of my career developing my skills was done in hospitality. And when it comes to sort of marketing to incentivize stuff, running little competitions or get a free starter, something that is palatable for your business. It's not gonna, be a money sink where you constantly have to provide this experience or this bonus, but it's a great way to start the conversation, to get the ball going. And I feel like once you've sort of surpassed, a set amount of followers on or a set amount of potential customers, let's call them potential customers, using incentivizing these reviews or incentivizing communication or engagement takes you very far. Because when you have a large following, you could sort of break it into sub communities. You have your diehard fans that sort of comment like every single thing you do. Then you have your people that like your Friday pieces of content, so they'll come on Fridays, or they'll come on Wednesdays, or they'll sort of sift and pick the things that they like or they want, and that's also perfectly fine. And then the other part of the community are the people that follow you either for ideas because they're running their own business, or clout chasing. This person is a great profile to follow. Cool, I'll just follow it. We don't. We care about our entire community because we want them all to be happy and we want them all to engage. But 80% of your effort shouldn't be focused on those people. It should be focused on the ones that are there every day, the ones championing your cause, championing. So if you have that, great. Incentive marketing is fantastic because you'll get the rest of your community engaged. But if you're just starting and you have a relatively small following, it's not great to incentivize, feedback because you're small, and chances are you haven't developed that core audience that will like and share and comment and sort of be part of your tribe. You'll only have the ones that are either jumping on to see what you're doing, or you have the ones for ideas, and incentivizing them. It's a one and done. They'll do it because they're incentivized, and then they'll stop. I want you to sort of just start focus building that relationship, building that first core community. And it might take you 2 years or it might take you a month. It really depends on the content you produce or how you sort of interact with everyone. But without that core sort of tribe, those core people, incentive marketing sort of falls by the wayside. Again, it's like a double-edged sword. It helps really well. Your engagement shoots up. Algorithms love it, fantastic, but 2 months down the line, all that engagement just drops down again. So that's my opinion on the two. So if you're small, focus on your tribe, focus on building your community. That should be your priority. And then you can incentivize everything going forward.
Awesome. Thank you
so much. I see my power is flickering. I'll be right back. I just need to hit that switch.
No, it's all good. It's all good. And I don't see any more questions coming through, guys. So if you don't have any more questions, we will pretty much wrap it up over here. Thank you, Zimbini. I see that you have been answered. I am happy about that. Cuthbert over here says, hello. Hello to you too, Cuthbert. Please let me know if you've got any sort of questions or any comments that you'd like to add. We're happy to hear those out as well. Okay, let's just wait for Marcel to wrap things up. And then I'll post the last comment that I see coming through.
Humblest apologies for that. I've got this janky light switch, and I just saw a spark, and I was like, "Hell's no, that needs to go like right now." Sorry about that.
No, we are pretty much wrapping things up. So I'm seeing a last comment here from Piwe. She says, thank you so much, Marcel. And she's quoting, focusing on your customers. So thanks for that.
Focus on your
Marcel, so as we are wrapping things up, so sorry, brother, is there anything else that you would like to share? Any final comments?
The last thing I want to say is build your tribe, build that core audience, that those fans that actually enjoy your content before you go off and, like you mentioned, go for incentivized marketing or incentivize reviews. Because yes, you want to include your entire community, but without that core tribe, unfortunately, it's just going to fall by the wayside. And make them the champions. Talk to your customers. The full power of the internet is behind you and your business. It like plenty of free resources. When I share this link, I'll put a few comments with free resources where you can learn about marketing for free from industry leaders in the world, from Google, and also Alison.com. But when this video gets posted on tomorrow's profile, I'll leave a comment with all these resources for you guys.
Cool, that would be much appreciated. Zimbini has one final question, if you don't mind.
Of course.
So she says that another way that she gets feedback is to ask telephonically. So shortly after the deal has been sealed. So would it be fraudulent to post those private conversations on your social media reviews?
So that's fantastic. So it's not fraudulent because that person did say it. So when it comes to that, it's awesome because you can take snippets. So let's say you get a review telephonically. They're saying it was fantastic, the experience, top notch, 5 stars. Do you know what I would do? I'll put 5 stars and I'll write a snippet and just my logo. So in that way, you're taking a snippet from what someone has said, but you're not like quoting an entire conversation, and you're making it appealing. Because I can't visualize a telephonic conversation, but I can visualize 5 stars, and I can visualize fantastic. So that's what you want. So pick those points. So if you get feedback telephonically, write it down. Write it down. Put up a testimonial, and if they're willing to, and you re-engage with them again. If you have email them saying, "Look, I'm taking this. Thank you again for your lovely feedback." Then put a link to your Google business listing. Also, very important, if you haven't claimed your Google business listing, why haven't you yet? Do it. You can always go past that. But the fact that you already got good feedback, use it. But think about it, how can I visualize it? 5 stars, fantastic. You don't need the whole transcript. And a lot of people won't be comfortable if you put the whole transcript. But if you tell them, listen, can I thank you for your comment. Is it like a 5-star review? And if they say definitely 5-star review, and it's like, cool, I'm going to take that. Put it on a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, 5 stars, the review. And if they're willing to give their first name, put their first name there. That's how I personally would deal with that situation.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Marcel. Got a few more comments coming through. David says, thank you. This was very insightful. Thank you, David, for being present. Tabi says, very insightful conversation, Marcel and Tamara. Well done. Thanks, Tabi. Thanks for joining us. And finally, we've got 1 year from Spusiso. He says that the session was so powerful. Thanks, Marcel. Clients always have to come first. Thanks, Musiso. Thank you everyone for joining us. And I will see you guys next week for another King Talks. Cheers. Bye, for now.